Welcome back to a brand new episode of Full Metal RPG, episode 120. For the last time, I'm your host, Brendan Carey, and today I'm joined by an all-star lineup, a rogues gallery, if you will, Full Metal RPG characters. Who we got here? The man, the myth, the legend, Ben motherfucking Bailey. What up?
What's up, guys?
What up, playa? Haven't seen you at the table in a hot minute.
It has been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. Good to have you here, bud. And out of retirement for one more job. Thought he was out. We dragged him back in. Adam Sink. What up, Adam?
Oh, not a lot. How's everybody doing?
Oh.
Keep trying to get out, but much like the Fast and Furious franchise, it's all about
it's the only thing that pays money? Because are you getting money?
Do you have to tell me if you get money?
family.
What's this? Does this cord mean anything? Just okay. I'm like, did I just unplug us from the internet? Anyway. No. And then we got Richie Buzzkill. Richie Buzzkill, my friend. Thank you for joining us for the last Brendan hurrah.
I'm not excited. I'm saddened that you're going. I'm excited that we can all be together in one room.
Yeah.
And hang out and bullshit.
By the Bell episode where I'm so excited, I'm so scared. Yeah, caffeine pills. Yeah.
Because we could literally just for some of the episodes where we all were on the same episode way back in the day, I can just put the same video underneath that audio, and it would be like you're not in the room back in the old apartment, right, with the weird wall. I couldn't recreate that too much. I mean, we are at a weird angle, so the
walls were so great for sound reflections
because they had an angle to it. All the bass could.
Yeah, they had the built-in bass traps. It was unfucking real. I loved, man. It would just catch all those reflections. It was so great. We never sounded better than when we were in that room. So we're just kind of here to I'm wrapping up my tenure. I wanted to go down with the boys. We got the boys all here. We're just gonna do an ep. I was thinking oh, what should I do for final ep? And I was like, well, I'm gonna make this big list of names. I'm just gonna read this list of all the people who ever influenced the show. And I was like, no one wants to listen to that. Everybody wants to listen to their name, but nobody wants to listen to the 300 other names that you'd have to listen.
Steve Johnson.
So it's I'm not gonna list. I'm not gonna do the names. I'm gonna do some shout outs for sure, but for the most part, we're just gonna do an episode, right? So I feel like we should just venture into the black hole. What do you think, RBK? The black hole? The black hole is the ever-sucking void of time, attention, and resources. It is role-playing. It's the greatest of hobbies. So what kind of shit have you guys been up to? I mean, RBK and I are still we see each other on the reg, but I do see Ben fairly frequently, but haven't seen you in a hot minute, Adam. What's what you got any gaming in at all? Any?
Not really. Yeah, it's my personal life imploded terribly, and that's just that. So,
all right. Well, I mean, because one of the reasons why you retired from the show is that you didn't think you were going to have time for role playing, and you didn't think that it was going to be a big part of your life going forward. So it's unsurprising. Is there anything that you've been watching in the role playing space that has kind of tickled you? Is there anything come out or anything you're looking forward to? Or
I mean, I've been reading Wrath and Glory off and on, and kind of getting into the new Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, reading those books off and on, and then following role playing TikTok, which is
interesting. What is that like?
It's terrible and awful, just like every other role-playing community, where it's just everybody wants to fight about the dumbest, most inconsequential shit.
Because we're not on there, are we missing your hot takes on their hot garbage?
No, I did 2, and then I saw the production values everybody else was putting into it, and I was like, I don't have time to do this. Nobody wants to listen to me anyway. I think I got 20 views, and everybody's like, no. No, I'm not doing it.
I feel like I'm just too old for TikTok. I'd be like one of those like creeper dudes at like a teen show. You know, I'd be like this weird dude at like the back of the show.
If you are over 30, you're probably too old for TikTok. My kids kept sending me TikTok, so I downloaded the app and was like, oh, I'll see what it's about. But yeah, I definitely feel like I'm like the what's up, fellow teens? You know, like just nobody wants to talk to me or engage with me.
I had it on my phone for all about 5 hot minutes, and it was not for me.
It's just nobody wants to engage with me. So it's like, all right, whatever. I'll just lurk here like I do in every online space I'm part of. I'm like, I'll sit around and see what's happening.
I feel like you had a question, Richard, and I cut you off.
I was going to say, are we missing the Adam Sync? The responses, I think, are that would be what I would join TikTok today.
Takes
For Adam responding to other RPG people on a hot garbage.
Reply guy.
Yeah, reply guy.
There's a term for this I found. It's reply guy.
Yeah, I would totally join today and get the Chinese on my phone, you know, because they control TikTok.
But then I have to like sift through all of the garbage that's on TikTok, and I'd rather
Just respond to the garbage. You start responding to garbage, and then you start moving up in the ranks. But I'm fine with you, you know, fine with you uninstalling it. Just uninstall it. It's fine.
I probably should.
We're out of the suicide pact now. Now it's TikTok pact.
TikTok pact. Got to do TikTok.
I've been back on Instagram lately, kind of. Been trying to do the Instagram thing again, and it's like it's just such a different environment. Like a lot of people from the old days of the show are still on, and like will reply and will like, but people just are not posting like they used to. Either that, or the algorithm is filtering them out, and it's just like it's just the old gray mare. It ain't what she used to be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a fucking pain in the ass. How about you, Ben? What's going on with your gaming life, bro?
Well, the pandemic happened, and my gaming life totally died. Basically, I was in
online shit. You just wouldn't do it.
hate online. Yeah, I think that's always just been sort of a block of mine. So I was playing Ravenous with you, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And then we came back sort of in Arizona in the pandemic, came back sort of. And I think that my gaming life has solely consisted of miniatures gaming, which is not something you should talk about on Full Metal RPG. And role-playing has been sort of like, you know, hadn't happened yet.
Well, I mean, you're playing Crusade, so that's sort of like, did you make some cool characters for your Crusade? Like
On it. No.
It's like, fuck that.
I was more focused on the hobby aspect of it, to be totally honest. That was where I was approaching it, and I had, you know, spent some time painting during the pandemic, and I kind of, you know, was enjoying that. It was an activity I could do when I couldn't really go out to do anything, so...
And I did ask you to be in my Ravenloft game, and you said, and you passed on it to play Warhammer.
I did.
And then that weekend you didn't play Warhammer. Because that was AOS release weekend, and the tables were all full.
Oh yeah. I mean. No. Hold on a second. To my credit here, I made a 45-minute drive to go do it, and then we failed to play.
Yeah.
So. It wasn't like I canceled.
Intentionality was all there. You wrote me from the store because I had been hemming and hawing about going out to IOG that weekend. Yeah.
It's not going to be worth it.
Right. Richard, my friend, what's up with your gaming life, bro?
Well, we'll get to Ravenloft on your turn. It's awesome.
We will get to Ravenloft.
Last night, my friend Nolan, shout out Nolan,
What up, Nolan?
Paul,
Going Nolan.
we played off of Kickstarter as one of these like docs. They just released the doc in kind of a state, you know, off of Kickstarter. Is called Phase Anatomy, which is basically think of Grey's Anatomy, but fairies. But it's not. It's not about fairies. It's about whatever supernatural or natural creature you. It's soap opera. Okay. It's basically a like a general hospital, but you could everything is super and natural.
How is this different than the PBTA one? What's that one called? The PBTA? No, they have a hospital one.
Oh, didn't that only come out in Ashcan? I can't.
Yeah.
It was a Magpie, and now we're gonna hear.
Well, yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. It was fun little like because we were gonna play our Tiny Dungeons game, but Paul couldn't run, so he just like here we'll play this, and I played a treant, doctor. He was a shaman pathologist, and
Did you have some kind of sex name like McLeafy or something?
no, my name is Dr. Laurel. That was my name, Dr. Laurel.
Little pun in there.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, yeah, Laurel, whatever. But like, I thought it was the system for how the disease, because the game master was the patient. Okay.
Man, this starts sounding real weird real quick.
Yeah, and they rolled a random disease. Okay, and then they had to act out the symptoms of the disease.
Lupus.
It was not lupus.
Dude, I gotta say, there's a Grey's Anatomy riff in here, but it sounds more like House.
Yeah, it was, definitely, we definitely made house jokes before we started, like the lupus and...
Because I've seen quite a few episodes of both Grey's Anatomy and House, and the thing about Grey's Anatomy is that it always has a social element, like there's some kind of conundrum in the like life relationships of the characters that then magically corresponds to a symbolic disease that somebody has.
It didn't go that far, but basically it was kind of two parts. You could do something with a patient and you had an expertise point you spent to do an action with the patient, like ask them questions or treat them or whatever. And then once that was spent, you had to go regain that by having some sort of drama scene outside of the patient. So
A scene, all right.
So, and you had, and this is, it just gets more, you had a bestie, a rival, and a crush. And you had to kind of like, you choose at the beginning. The only thing that I didn't like was the crush thing, like choosing that right off the bat.
You didn't really want to have a crush on Dr. Big Vines?
No, I mean, Dr. Acula had a crush on me, and then I had a crush on the Dr. Backlash, and like, it was everybody had a different rival and or bestie and or crush. So it was we never had like mutual. I think my friend was was it Tanuki? I don't know. It's fucking weird. It was.
You're not selling me on this, bro.
That's fine. That's fine. You're not the target audience for this. If you
Really not.
do you like hospital dramas?
Not particularly.
Right. If you like hospital dramas, I think it would be fun to play.
Like hospital dramas?
I don't particularly. Scrubs was okay. Scrubs was okay. I like Scrubs. I didn't mind House until I wanted to beat my head through. Yeah.
Nobody wants to see me anyway. I look like a homeless person. I read that online.
But if you like that genre, I think it would be worth looking at. But otherwise, and everything had like a supernatural part and a natural part of it, like real and unreal was combined, and then you had to kind of work your way through the disease to cure them. They died, and you had to figure out how to bring them back, and so on and so forth. It was a fine time for an evening of chuckles. Like,
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
and then I got the new Cyberpunk Red Game Master screen.
Oh my God, Brendan disappeared.
Oh no.
Anyway, but this will probably make it way more playable because I usually had to have like 5 or 6 pages open to run it. So
It's kind of crazy. It took them like, I don't know, a million years to release this thing. When did fucking the core book come out? Was that like December?
January, February?
Of this year?
We got the PDF. Yeah.
Oh, that's not so bad.
We got the PDF in December, and then it was like 2 months later before the actual book.
Well, I mean, that is slow. You would think that they would drop the GM screen like with the core book, considering it's the same assets that are in the book. It's just like some computer art and then the tables that they already had. It's the kind of thing, it seems like a no-brainer just to have that come out at the same time.
They also released Altered Carbon if you want more cyberpunk role-playing type of games. That's out as well.
Altered Carbon's been around for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been out.
Has it? I don't know.
It's been out for a few months.
There was I think there was a new release for it or something like that. I saw it on the shelves, like something for.
Yeah, that thing went to press real fast. I mean, the turnaround on that was big, but like I don't know if they're if they're managing to keep like a flow going on it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the loop. Here's me. Far from the loop.
Were you hoping to run Altered Carbon?
No, I already ran Altered Carbon, but
Were you gonna run it again with the full rules?
But yeah, and then Ravenloft.
Ravenloft, bro. Yeah, we're well. I mean, I did and I didn't. Yeah.
I got to choose to come back. Yeah.
We talk about this game at work sometime.
Yeah, did we did I tell the cultists that I fucking killed all the characters? It's fucking unreal, man. So we got together for session 2 at Ravenloft, and the party was like exploring this kind of haunted ship. And I just remembered from back in the day when I was doing Out of the Abyss, which like astute listeners who have been with the show for a really long time will remember that's kind of what we started talking about. It was the Out of the Abyss campaign. And I remember D&D 5 just being so favorable to the players that I always felt like as the GM, like I was never really giving challenging encounters. You were in that game, isn't that how it felt? Am I high?
No, it didn't feel very challenging.
Yeah, it just felt like you guys were always pushing the NPCs around. So when I was doing encounter design, I was like, well, I can kind of turn it up a little bit. I can turn the fucking simmer up to boil, and they'll be fine, right? And then I fucking whacked 4 out of 5 characters, man.
5 for 5, right? But one ran.
Yeah, one ran. One character was playing the self-interested ranger, and he dipped out. Yeah, he dipped out real fast. So it was interesting because I'm playing with some new players, and I think there were a lot of reasons why the near TBK almost happened. I think part of it was like inexperience on the part of some new players. Then there was my rustiness as a DM, and I had made a couple technical rule mistakes. I won't get into them, but there were a couple rule mistakes. Some of it was encounter design. Some of it was when I was GMing the character creation. And then I think that there were also some play mistakes made by the characters. And it's funny because when we were playing 3.5 all the time, like the sort of tabletop wargaming aspect of that game was very like in your face. And then when you played 4, it was basically just an MMO. But now we were playing with these new people, and and Richard and I are like trying to really kind of bring them in and be like, oh, this is about role playing. It's a sandbox. And then there's another guy at the table who's like an OSR guy, another guy at the table who's like from my vampire days, so he's much more into the role playing and the acting than he is into the tactical simulation. And it just turns out that like when you don't have people at the table who are treating the game like a tactical simulation, it turns out it's a lot harder. Like fucking those CR1 half monsters will like fucking kick your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Well, especially when you're kind of when they're kind of underpowered characters, and the character little underpowered, and also the
Why are they underpowered?
Well, they only had 3. You only roll 3d6 instead of 4d6. Drop the lowest.
Yeah.
So that shifts your entire power band. But also the fact that like half of them didn't have their full character sheet filled out. So people that were not sitting next to me did not have their character sheets filled out. So like, no, he also didn't. Ben also didn't have his character sheet.
Oh, really?
And because he was supposed to have another +2, and he would have hit the first 2 times because he didn't add his proficiency bonus to his weapon, and so therefore he was just hitting with strength. So it was like he was hitting with his
because
why I hate D&D.
That's a problem, man. Like, cause like seriously, the armor class on these fucking things they were fighting was 12, and they couldn't hit him. They couldn't hit a 12, and it's just like
I hit both times, but like everybody else couldn't hit him.
Right.
All of this, like, I need to get an additional +2. Eyes rolling back in my head. I don't want to do this.
You know what? I'm having so much fun. It's so much fun. It's just very like it's technical, but it's technical on a fun level. When I'm doing my GM prep, I like to stack up a whole bunch of books and cross-reference between them. And then the role-playing is all very sandboxy, and we don't do a lot of combat encounters. We mostly do RP type stuff. I'm having a fucking blast. And
Sounds like 2 out of 6 people really enjoyed that encounter.
whoa.
Well, that's the thing is like we've had 3 sessions.
Yeah.
Right. 2 of those sessions we haven't actually had a combat.
Right, yeah.
Right, and then the one session that we had combat, we all died. Right. So he died. He died inside, and now I'm here to haunt him. Yeah, is really what.
And I died inside too.
Richard's character got what they call a dark gift now in Ravenloft, which is like this cool power that you can get that's very kind of like it feels very kind of like World of Darkness, like White Wolf 3rd edition. It's kind of flamboyant. It's like a flamboyant way to express darkness, and then it can only be given to you by like a dread power or like a dark lord. So you have to make like a kind of like a Faustian bargain to get one of these things. And so Richard's character came back with one of these powers, but he doesn't remember how he got it. And then 3 people made new characters, and because 2 of them were like the new players, and I told them, I was like, we can do a little 3-card Monty, and we can have your characters come back if you want to keep playing them. I don't want you to feel like you're being punished. It's your second session, and they were both like, oh no, we want to make new characters. So they're both down for the struggle. So anyway, fucking Ravenloft, kids, it's fucking awesome. The new book, I highly recommend it. Go out, check it out. D&D is still D&D, but with the new tech that they have introduced in Xanthars, Tasha's, and Ravenloft, I think it's a lot better.
The hottest of 2014.
yeah, seriously. It's just like all these like OSR hacks from like 2012, 2014, like finally find their way into D&D, and guess what? It's like so much better. What a trip. Anyway, yeah, so that's my that's what I've been up to. So here we are. It's like the godfathers of the show gathered in one room. And, after this, I think it'll be like very rare that we have one of these. It's already rare, but it's gonna become very rare. Full Metal RPG, Richard's taking the helm. He's going in his own direction.
Steering the ship off into the wind.
Yeah. But Ashley's helping too, and we're gonna try and like continue the work I think we kind of started in the last season. The year here where we're talking about politics and talking about role playing and the intersection, and that sort of thing. I think is where the heart of the show lies now, is talking about that stuff. And if you don't want to listen to it, I guess
Specifically about how they need to make more role playing games for chuds, right?
No chuds. No chuds.
TSR game definitely needs some of that.
Came and went.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Going, I guess.
And like I kind of just wanted since the future's out in front of us, and we're gonna see what the future holds here in just a couple weeks. August 15th. I don't even know what your new recording schedule is going to be, Richard, but I presume August 15th.
Probably. It's either right away or August 15th, but we're going to go from the 15th and the 30th to every 2 weeks.
That's actually better.
It's going to be on a certain day every 2 weeks. We'll record on one day and then release exactly the Tuesday or Wednesday that week. That sort of thing.
Cadence.
So the cadence, and it if I have to throw up a one mic show, like I can always throw up a one mic show. Like I'll just, I'm sure I can find someone I can drag into.
Crawler it like Forever Night.
You can always find someone.
Oh yeah. By the way, if you remember Shadowsworn Radio Hour and you haven't been on our Discord, we've been doing Shadowsworn Radio Hour every Wednesday with Mike from Darker Days Radio. Forever Night. We're talking. Yeah, Adam, Brendan was there. We're doing
for one.
But I'm there every time as I can, and I think maybe next week I'm going to run it. But
what episode are you guys on in Forever Night?
We're going to be episode 8 next week, and then
I just need somebody to ping me to remind me, because I'm really bad at keeping track of the days lately. I'm like, the
days time is a flat circle. Yeah, so
right. I was like, Forever Night tonight. It's Wednesdays. Like, dude, it's Thursday. What? Oh,
here because
yeah, no shit, for real. For real.
I could have totally spaced that too. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Monday, Adam. You're supposed to be at work. Oh,
Adam, what are you doing here?
So I guess kind of what I just wanted to discuss today is, I mean, the show really kind of got off the ground in late 2015, early 2016. That's 5 years. 5 years have passed. Where are we all at kind of individually as like role players, and like how has the RPG scene changed over the course of the tenure of the show, and like maybe even if we want to get into it, like how has the show changed us, what effect has it had on our lives? So does anybody have any thoughts? Anybody have any leading thoughts? I feel like I always just monopolize the conversation, but Ben, what do you think, bro?
I feel like when we started out, there was not as great an intersection, not a great public intersection between politics and role playing. That's kind of changed over the last so many years. I think it's a lot more common now to talk about those things. Now there's so many more games to talk about than there ever was. I mean, we're at a point in history where we've had Kickstarter games now for many, many years. And everyone and their mom can put together a game if they want to and have it show up or just sell on a random web page. It's very interesting. There's a lot of stuff out there.
I mean, like, we kind of were doing the show not at the beginning of the Kickstarter boom, but when the boom part actually hit. Like, literally, John Wick was sitting in what stood for our recording studio the minute he crossed the $1 million mark. He was being interviewed by us when he crossed the $1 million mark, and at that point in like role-playing history, that was like, whoa, a role-playing game made $1 million on Kickstarter, whoa, that was hot shit. Now, God, all the trials and travails that Seventh Sea has had, it's like at fucking Chaosium now or something, right? Like, it's
Hi, he still got my money for Katai.
the whole thing is just so weird. Like, Kickstarter, which was already a force when we started the show, has just completely changed everything,
But it's even gone beyond that now. I think there's a lot more just self-release games on various like avenues, which is something that I think had just sort of started then, but now seems to be a lot more common.
Do you feel like people distrust the Kickstarter platform? I mean, what's interesting to me is that I feel like Kickstarter used to be super like pitchy, like you just never knew what was going to happen when you did a Kickstarter, and now those kinks have just gotten so ironed out. Like the process of doing a Kickstarter just seems so much more, you follow these steps and then you get the product, you know what I'm saying? But I almost feel like there's at least in our group, I feel like there's almost like Kickstarter burnout.
I am so burned out. I'm one of the shows I'm planning for the next season is the state of the art is kind of what I'm titling all these shows like of Kickstarter, and I think that Kickstarter, I'm just like I just don't know anymore, man. Like it's to the point where like I still have a lot of money sitting out there for this stuff, and I'm still glad to help my friends, but when I know people and they're my friends, but like it takes a pretty high bar. Like it used to be like, oh yep, no, yeah, and now it's like, oh yeah, I'll say that for later. Maybe I'll look at it again. Maybe I won't.
There's been a lot for that for me too. Like being like, well, if I see it in a store, I'll pick it up. If it makes it to a store, like if it makes it through the kind of like the pipeline and ends up in front of my face again, because I don't know. This might sound weird, but I literally have Kickstarters that have like finished and they've reached the publication step, and I'm getting emails and they're like, claim your reward. And I'm almost like, I don't know if I care. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to go into BackerKit and I have to spend more money to pay for the shipping because they figured out the don't bankrupt yourself on shipping thing. And it's like, I've already done this like sunk cost of like, well, they have my $35. But do I care enough to put another $10 in? Or can they just have my fucking $35 and I move on with my life and I don't have some obscure fucking, Forged in the Dark vampire game? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean, you can just testament to. You can only see half my shelf behind Ben, but like there's a lot of Kickstarter games on that shelf,
And there's an epic amount of Kickstarter games.
and I'm pretty religious on making sure I get them because like if I'm going to, I'm deeply into the sunk cost fallacy, and I've just got to the point where like I do that because I spent the money, but like I'm not running to buy more. Like I used to surf Kickstarter, like
So many that I've never even run that anymore. When they come up, I do the same thing you do. I go, I'm not paying another $10 for this. You can just have it. Just take my money. It's fine.
I've definitely done the same thing too.
Yeah, like I have some kind of problem going on with the D-sanction right now. Like I'm absolutely certain that I told them to send me my book. And I don't have it. And then there's like something else like Trophy. Did Trophy ever ship? Did you get your Trophy?
I didn't back Trophy, but Trophy's not shipped yet. They're still talking about it on the Trophy podcast.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how close they are, but they're not shipped yet, which is so weird to me.
Trophy I'll actually spring for, but there's just like a bunch of them, and I keep getting these like fucking emails from Kickstarter like, oh, there's only 38 people in the world who haven't gotten their copy of Obscure Game X. Like, fucking, will you please fucking just give me $10? I can send it to you. And I'm just like, no, keep it. I'm not gonna run it.
I had a few that even just failed outright, and it's just I got burnt out.
Yeah.
And then the other ones that I spent $200 plus dollars on where I got it, and I'm like, okay, and then I stuck it on the shelf and just
Yeah, man. Because that is a thing that has changed for me since when we first launched the fucking show. Is that I was a voracious just collector of role playing games. I wanted to have completely an inability to see my walls because of all the bookcases just groaning under the weight of role-playing games. And then a couple of years ago when I moved, I just got rid of so much shit, and I'm getting rid of more shit. There's a fucking Merc Market coming up in September, and I'm just like anything that I don't sell at the Merc Market is like going over to the used bookstore. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to see how much I can fucking grind out of it because, man, I just don't want all these games that I'm like never going to run. I'm never going to run them. You know,
that's definitely a difference. I mean, like, I'm still collecting a little bit, but not like a whole lot. But it's, I don't collect like you. Like, I remember episodes where I'd listen to it, and like 1 week you'd be like, I think Wraith is cool, and then like 2 weeks later, oh, I have the entire collection of Wraith. I have every book from Wraith.
Definitely something that happened.
It definitely happened once or twice or three times. Entire sections of White Wolf had passed onto your shelf between shows.
I actually did that pretty recently, and just in the last year. I mean, here I am saying, oh, do I more? But I did make it my mission to get the complete collection of revised edition Mage, and like, dude, those books are fucking 20 years old now, and they're on the other side of this weird bubble that we've been in, where we've seen this crazy inflation of RPG book values. Like when Full Metal RPG launched, it was like you could go on eBay and just get, it was like role playing books were just like laying around. You could get them for like $5-10. Right now, it's like you go online and you're trying to buy like a specific book, and it's like $50. If it's a fucking 20-year-old book, it's $50. Like it didn't used to be like that. This idea of vintage role playing is completely new.
Some books were like that. Like Dark Reflection Specters back then was still like an $80 book if you wanted it.
The thing is I don't think Dark Reflection Specters is $80 now.
It's not.
Yeah, because all that shit, they put it all on reprint or something, you know?
Put into Wraith 20, so the entirety of that text is now in.
Yeah, we're back.
Which Mage books are you still hunting down then?
Dude, you see, that's the thing, is that now, like, all the tradition books are like $50 each minimum. Okay, there's a couple you can get for less than that, but like...
They're not pod or anything? Can't print on demand, though?
Those, they're not as good. The thing is that the quality's shit, you know? So I'm trying to hunt down the real ones, and they're like $50 to $75. I did score a few. I got this great score on some of them, but I'm just like really kind of working my way across that. Here's the thing. To the
Scouring used bookstores and
yeah, I'm doing, and if I ever see a deal, I'll get one on eBay. But I mean, here's the thing: is I have hunted many rare books, and all you have to be is patient. You will eventually get them all. Like I don't have to fucking freak out and get some like overspend for it, you know?
The only barrier is how much you're willing to spend on these things anyway.
That is true. And this actually kind of relates back to Ravenloft because I can't remember what brought it up, but like a couple years ago I was on eBay. I was having a trip down nostalgia lane, and I was remembering this game that I played in high school with like an infamous GM that we played with back then. And he played us through this Ravenloft box set that came with like an audio CD, and it was like a haunted house. Anyway, I was like, oh, I was going through Nostalgiaville, and I looked up, and it was like $80. This is a couple of years ago, and I was like, fucking $80 for a CD? There's no way I'm paying that. That's stupid. That's bullshit.
It's already on YouTube. I almost guarantee you that CD's been translated.
I mean, but what about the module though, right?
Well, I mean, PDFs are free. PDFs are free, you know.
So when I got back into Ravenloft or having a good time playing Ravenloft, I'm like, you know what would be cool is to like run this for the new group, right? So I was like, you know, I can spend $80. It'll be fine.
The sweet tech of the 90s.
Yeah, I can just use a CD and just really like go. $80 is a trifle to spend for this gaming experience. I go on. It's now $200 to $300 for a fucking module with a CD. It's like, fuck you. I am not doing it. It is not gonna happen. You know. I mean, the price ain't gonna go down. I guess now. You know. Can you fucking believe this shit? It's unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're old enough that people our age have money and they have nostalgia. So we're like, it's like baseball cards, right? Baseball cards are almost completely dead now, even value wise. But like you know, when we were kids, baseball cards were the hottest shit in the world. Like, you know, I'm sure some of them are still worth money. Billionaires collect things that were worth money at one point, right? But like, role-playing games have become that thing where it was cheap as chips, and now it's like, you know, like what there's like the Star Wars Saga edition from like the early 2000s that people want like $150 for that stupid Star Wars D20 Saga edition. Like,
I got a full collection, so you know.
I've got one in the closet. I'm gonna try and sell. Like, I don't want it. Like,
yeah, make some money on that, homie.
You know,
Somebody paid $1 million for what? Mario All Stars or whatever, still shrink wrapped for N64.
yeah. If you got that, like,
Million? Oh my God, there's something wrong. Oh, but I mean, we know that there's something wrong. Anyway, whatever. I'm not gonna get into it.
but I mean, used to be you'd buy whole runs of books, cheap as chips. Now there's like the you know, even eBay, even used bookstores know what things are worth. Right, they're pricing it off of the eBay price, right? So even finding, like, going to Bookman's, going to a used bookstore, you're likely not going to find a amazing deal. Like, that's
To price out the resellers, and so you have to come at the economy in a different way. You know, like on my last big mage haul, I took in a bunch of books and I just was like, I did them all trade credit, and I got a whole, and so essentially I got like a bunch of mage shit for free, right? Because it was like I took a bunch of dead books I wasn't going to use anything, and I came out of there with a bunch of mage books that likely as not I won't use for anything either, but they were like more expensive mage books, you know. But the idea of like picking up a book at the used bookstore that you can find on eBay for $40, that's over, because all the used bookstore guys know that the eBay guys are going in there, and they're gonna move that price level on the pipeline.
They're pricing out the eBay guys, though. I found stuff at the used bookstore that's more expensive than it is on eBay, and it's just like, this is insane. I don't know what you guys are doing.
The eBay guys are usually experts in what they are selling, and the guys at the used bookstore aren't necessarily. They just are typing in whatever they see on the cover, but they don't understand the nuanced differences between things that just have the same stuff on the cover. You know what I'm saying? Right. Dark Heresy. Like, well, this one says Dark Heresy. This one also says Dark Heresy. They have different pictures, but what's the difference? They don't know. You know?
so. I mean, now, you know, we're out of collecting, right? It's sort of, right? Sort of, and you know, but you're running a new game, right? You're back. You're happier than ever running.
Yeah, it's really true.
And you know, I'm feeling like I want to run a sci-fi game. Like, I really want to do a bigger sci-fi game. That's kind of my.
What are you gonna do? When are you gonna do it? You gonna do it in person? You gonna do it online? What's your plan, man?
I was gonna do it in. That's a real pickle right there.
It is. It is.
You know, I've got a pretty good spot in Casa de Buzzkill to do it downstairs at the kitchen table. You know, but that my friends who would play anything are online, right? I gotta, if I, I know I could drag some of you in, but not all of you. So like, because it's just scheduling, being adults. So like, I'm probably going to run something for my Saturday night crew that my old high school chums who have kind of crossed over into playing anything. And
it's funny because your conundrum is similar to mine, where it's like I have my like Dungeon Punks crew that I play with online, and those guys are down for just about whatever. They're very open-minded, but they all live in these weird places, and I can't have them just come to my house, even though like I would love to see what my Dungeon Punks friends, who I played like 2 seasons of Esoteric Enterprises, we're playing Shadowrun right now. We played some Ruin and Conquest. I'd love to see what they did in Mage. I'd love to see what they did in Ravenloft. But if I want to play with them, I got to play online. And dude, even though it was the thing that got us through COVID, and even though there's all this tech now, and there's all these people who that's all they do is play online, to me, it's just not as good. I just can't. I find it really draining. It's just not as fun for me.
Killed my Dark Ages game was just like connectivity issues and never knowing who was showing up and never having a consistent stable. Like it was just, I just got to the point where it's like,
even in IRL, like you still can have those problems, except
a connectivity issue.
The connectivity. That was the problem. Well, I mean,
certain people who every single time they would just like drop out intermittently. And then it's like, well, do I sit back and do like a Merle Haggard, like, well, what just happened was the Duke boys went on down to the Zamichi and howdy, that was a bucket of syrup, like, or do I just go, well, I guess when you come back, we'll try to fold you back in, assuming you have connectivity again. It just got to the point where I just remember there was this moment where I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I'm having such a difficult time maintaining tension when it's like, oh, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Can you? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of a scene, and now I got to stop it to deal with it.
Yeah, dude, that whole thing where you're trying to get that flow, where you're trying to get people invested and kind of get them on the edge of their seat, is so hard online anyway. And then like somebody's face freezes, or somebody goes, Brendan, you're kind of breaking up in there, or somebody, or
hold on, that's my dog. Hold on, my dog.
Out someone wasn't on. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I left the room to get a drink, and you're like, oh fuck, man, like it's crazy.
It's sort of, I think it's sort of the problem of like having. It's sort of a monetary barrier to entry. Nobody thinks they need better internet because all their Netflix works. But to do VoIP and video all the time, it's a higher bar of entry for your internet speed.
You don't have to like control that. It's not like I could go out tomorrow and be like, yo, can you guys redo the infrastructure by my house? I really need that.
If I go to Cox tomorrow and I'm like, hey, I want more upload speed, they're going to be like, that's great, Slappy. You want to pay the $1 million to upgrade all of the cables off of the main?
I know you can't control it, but I'm just saying that is it's not only depending upon in America, one provider. Right, we have one provider of internet per like area. It's all monopolized, right?
Basically, either Cox or CenturyLink DSL. It's like so.
I can walk you through all the DSL boxes that are splayed open in these alleyways back here, like because I enjoy walking these alleyways and showing you all the wires just splayed all over the.
Fix my internet. Stop spending all the money on space.
I mean, yeah, it's a real buzzkill, so to speak, when you're in the middle of a scene and then it just kind of falls apart. So my Esoteric Enterprises games were very much run more as kind of like beer and pretzels games, kind of like where I'd just be like sitting there and I'd be like, yeah, you walk into a room and there's like all these like fucking horrifying like things. It's gross. Just sort of imagine something gross, and then that's it. I mean, these were literally my descriptions, and people were like, "Yeah, okay, fine," because we all had a certain
right. You knew what it was.
Yeah, we had a threshold for what we knew, what we were playing.
Like, I'm going to try to build some intrigue, and it's like, nope, not going to happen.
I've been just getting so much more out of the IRL role playing since it's back, and what I was going to say was like when I was selecting my group, I literally just went through in my head and I was like, who are people who I want to spend more time with IRL? Like who am I not seeing a lot of? And whose face would I like to see more of? And I just went down that list.
I appreciate that, dude.
And some people said no, and and so I went further down the list. But like that has been a formula that's really worked because it's just like it gets back to almost like high school role playing where it's like, well, we're friends and we want to spend time together, and this is how we're gonna do it, you know?
Right. Looking at how things have changed, I think actual plays have started like feeding back now into the role playing community, and a lot of things are now being kind of fed into that. Well, D&D 5, for instance, has specifically said like, oh yeah, the actual play stuff is now feeding back into how we think about things and how we design things, and it's just like, all right, I guess that's a thing.
I'm sure of it. I mean, why wouldn't they do that?
Yeah, well, it's
This requires accents.
yeah,
The
Penny Arcade stuff. They've put out books like the Penny Arcade book and like Critical Role and all that stuff. All that stuff is now its own cottage industry that is a huge part of role playing.
I mean, the actual play stuff is why fucking D&D 5 became D&D 5.
It's a colossus.
Yeah, I mean, and we were there exploring what we thought was some kind of like fringe quadrant of the internet space with Full Metal RPG, and just not really realizing that like the gold rush was going on in a different quadrant. You know what I'm saying?
And Scottish accents
We were
the whole time.
we were all like, oh yeah, I think this is the mother lode over here on this asteroid.
Oi!
And then like, nope, no.
great.
Shoulda. If only I had had those Joe Mag movie bucks to launch my D&D themed streetwear line.
Wait, now this is a question that I don't think anybody has heard actually on the podcast. That originally Full Metal RPG was intended to be was the Instagram first, right?
Oh, okay.
And then it was good. You were talking about streetwear like long ago, right? That was going to be your thing.
Well, the first Instagram was actually called Industrial Strength RPG, and then when when Ben was the one that actually proposed doing the podcast, and so that was the original working title, was Industrial Strength RPG, and then I was noodling with it, and I was like, I don't think anybody's going to understand what that means, because the idea from day one was always to link a sort of music scene attitude to role-playing game fun, right?
Right.
But people don't know what industrial music is. Nobody.
It's very obscure.
And nobody cares. And this kind of like play on words of the idea of like industrial strength, kind of like an industrial strength cleaner or something, I just didn't think people would get it. And so I was like, well, what if we do full metal? Because I mean, it just sounds meaner, it sounds tougher. It has the word metal in it, which is like a kind of music. And like subsequently, people have been like, this show's not enough metal. It's like, oh, okay, you guys took this very literally. Well, I think once I started doing the drawings and doing because when we first started doing the show, I did a new cover drawing for every episode, and that was one of the things that was like killing me.
Burning you out fast.
Oh my god, it was so hard. But I was thinking about somehow flipping that into streetwear, and womp womp. Totally should have done that. Totally should have done that rather than putting all my energy into fucking like interviewing Avenger Satanis. Like, gee, what was I thinking? You know what I'm saying? Like, I came to a fork in the woods and I chose to interview Avenger Satanis instead of promoting my art for money. I am a fool. Yeah, I sit here a fool.
Well, I mean, like, it would have required finding those marketing opportunities to push your streetwear to the point where you could get, because Joe Mag got like that, right? Because
he's Joe Mag,
right? Because he's like, you can get him on Good Morning America, like it's like he can be anywhere, and like, and you know, he has enough money to like spend on advertising and Insta, right? So like,
Here's a crazy thing about capitalism, kids. If you start out in an advanced position on the board where you have money, connections, influence, you can get so much farther. Crazy how that works. It's not just always about building a better mousetrap. Sometimes it's about having more money to build your mousetrap.
You sure? How do you explain Donald Trump?
That crazy bootstrapper Joe Mag with his beautiful glistening abs. I mean, he did bust his butt for those abs, and they are gorgeous.
Well, I mean, at least he put the work in. So
He did. Now sometimes he like goes on Twitter and flexes on people talking shit about D&D. So you know what? Hey, you know what, Joe Mag? I've been really hard on you over the last 5 years, but the memes are cool, bro. The memes are cool. Magic Mike's a good movie, so whatever. It's only good. It's not excellent. No Academy Awards. Anyway, whatever. Anybody else have any Joe Mag hot takes? No, just me.
I was just
Nothing against the guy.
Yeah.
Don't know him. Don't know anything about him. But
yeah,
hey, whatever.
I'm just not gonna pay. I'm just not gonna pay $60 for a T-shirt. Sorry, bro.
Seriously, I've been kind of stepping up my home streetwear selection, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna I'm gonna like put the axe down. I'm gonna stop grinding the axe. I'm gonna go on fucking death saves and see. They got a Mandy license, and I really liked Mandy. I think it's a great movie. Would love to get some. I'm gonna get a Joe Mag Death Saves Mandy shirt. Fucking hell, so expensive. $75 for a silkscreen hoodie. Fuck you. It's one color, $75. You may eat my butthole. I'm sorry. It's just
You can put your message on Front Street for $20 for a Full Metal RPG Sucks T-shirt.
Full Metal RPG Sucks, designed by Collab, a Richie Buzzkill times Monster Hunter Banjo collab.
Oh shit! Oh no, the cat's out of the bag. The banjo is out of the bag.
And yeah, Monster Hunter. What do you think, MBH? Do you like it? I mean, you hate us so much, but I mean, whatever.
It's got the best reviews on the back. Like meh.
Well, you and I have different opinions about the reviews, but the one where it said the review where it said that we were ruining RPGs because of critical race theory, I've always taken as being the one I want tattooed on my heart. But
It's a really good one.
I know, right?
It is. It's really good.
I'm just always just like,
I couldn't quite justify putting that on a T-shirt. I couldn't quite bring myself to put that on a T-shirt.
it's your party now, bro. It's your party now. Soon Monster Hunter Banjo will be calling you like he'll be trying to emasculate you by calling you a female name, because there could be nothing worse in the world than being a female. Yeah, it's the ultimate diss. It's the ultimate burn.
And the reason that he thinks it's so terrible is because of people like him, which is the weird part. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The beast is feeding itself. He's shitting in his own mouth and consuming it. It's like the Ouroboros, but of shit. Just a shit Ouroboros.
The one-man centipede.
The one-man human centipede.
Just feed itself forever and ever.
There's just the idea that there's this guy out there like sitting over his keyboard, like sweating, like hunched, smelling of like Cheeto dust and Mountain Dew and hate, and he thinks that like calling me not just one female name but like two female names together, Brenda, Karen, right. and that I'm like when I'm gonna walk into the game store, I'm gonna have to somehow like cast my eyes down amongst the other like Uber mention, the like muscular lumberjacks in there who are all like so macho, and they're just all like, we're real men and we fucking role play. We don't have anybody who has female names around here. I mean, like, what reality do you live in, dude? Like,
You read Men's Health.
like, come on, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Look in the mirror. There's no Uber mention to be found around here. Like, that's just, like, it's not a thing, dude. It's just not even a thing.
Joe Mag.
Joe Mag.
Right. He's the one. Joe Mag and Vin Diesel. Those are your two. You got two. That's all you get.
It's kind of backed off the whole thing lately.
That's true.
Yeah.
About family anymore.
Not enough family. Vin Diesel writes his own role-playing game. There's like a family stat.
About family. Party doesn't matter, only family.
Yeah.
You're going to attack this family of Tarasques. Bad news. You're going to die.
Well, I think this show has changed me. Specifically this episode. Specifically this episode.
Not for the better.
Specifically this episode. But no, I mean, like, I really feel like, when I first started listening, because I was a listener first, right? First started listening, I was not I did mostly story games. That was my deal. Like that was my jam. Like I played D&D because people played D&D, but like I was mostly into story games and White Wolf games, you know.
Sure.
But
Story games. I think
right.
weird people don't consider them story games.
Right, but there's this whole like anyway, and just like learning more about like cool stuff that was in the OSR space and some of the other stuff, you know, and how OSR games are basically two sides of the same coin. See episode million behind us where we talk about that, but like. It really has changed my you know, outlook on some games, and you know, made me look at games more openly until I can find out, you know. But now I don't want to kickstart them, so like it's just.
How about you, Ben?
I don't know. I'm in such a weird down spot with role playing right now. You know, I didn't really
Tell us about it. Well, that's relevant. I mean, that's absolutely relevant.
haven't been able to get back in the swing of things. You know, I don't know. It's been kind of hard just even thinking about it. It's in a very just a weird spot about it. You know, sure. I did want to take an opportunity, however, though, since we brought up Frito-Lay products just a half second, with Monster Hunter Banjo sitting in his basement eating Frito-Lay products. Don't do that. Don't fucking eat Frito-Lay products. That's it. Solidarity for the strike.
Oh, is there a strike on that?
Yeah,
There is.
I thought they resolved that today.
Did they resolve it today? Am I behind?
I think you're allowed to eat Frito-Lay products again, maybe. I don't know. Just don't eat Frito-Lay products because they're not good.
Well,
and they're bad for you.
I don't know.
Look,
Fritos are
I'm not
pretty
gonna tell
fucking
people what
awesome.
they can and can't like.
I will say, however, that
I will. You're
don't-
not allowed to eat like Frito-Lay.
don't support shitty employers.
Yeah, touche to that. Touche to that in a big way. For real.
Get to space.
For real.
How are they going to get to space if you don't support them? Because they came back and they said, thank you. Thank you for supporting me. And thank you all the workers who pissed in bottles for allowing me to go to space.
So I get to space.
Thanks for sending me to space.
I love how Bezos like comes back from space and he basically like doffs fedora and is like also the surplus theory of value is completely legit.
It just really made this worthwhile. It just
Changed my
Yeah.
perspective. Oh, so you're going to start paying your employees more? No, it didn't change my perspective on it.
Did you wait? You guys didn't know? I'm a sociopath. I'm a fucking complete sociopath. How about you, Adam? What are you taking away from fucking 5 years of Full Metal RPG, bro?
No, I got involved in a lot of things like the OSR space. Found out the OSR space parts of it. I shouldn't bring what parts of the OSR space are really terrible. A lot of the creators in the OSR space were really terrible. Didn't know about that. Probably never would have known about that. Got plugged into that. Got involved in that. Met a bunch of friends. Met a bunch of people who then turned out to be terrible people. Like.
Oh yeah, that.
Got pulled into like all kinds of different directions. You know, it's like all of life. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and then you have the facts of life.
Yeah, facts of life. Yeah.
Of life. Just really, that's my deep thought on all of that. But no, it just I got to
Not a sitcom about a sorority.
no. That's my Miss Garrett.
Boarding house for women. I think
It was like a school for girls or whatever. It was,
Oh, I thought it was a sorority.
no.
Come up with that.
Probably the porn parody version would be my guess if I
would say I've seen this movie.
I've seen that movie and
Yikes.
it went in a totally different direction. But yeah, so I don't know. It's like anything else. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot as a person. Some of it related to that. Some of it related to other stuff. But you know, it's like I rode a Quickstarter rave. It was a whole crazy thing. I got, you know, there's been a lot of ups and downs and a lot of things I've learned. I met a lot of really cool people, which is great. Like so many cool people that I still talk to, you know, and then the bad ones is like, it's easy to laugh them off or just be like, okay, well, good luck with that, Slappy.
I kind of have to echo what you're saying here. Like for me, I came back from Los Angeles and like I can talk openly about this at this point. Like I was like real pissed. I was like super fucking angry at how things had gone there, and I was angry like not just at like the city and some of the people that lived in it, but I was like angry at myself for what I considered to be like a failure. Like I had gone out there, Like so many people who have creative ideas, and I went out there to do something, and I just fucked it up. And I fucked it up for no reason other than my own self. I fell into all the same dumb traps that everybody who goes out to that city falls into, like a fucking chump. And I was angry as fuck when I came back.
Porn.
Yeah, exactly. They're just fucking North Hollywood on the mattress, you know, sweaty lights and cameras and the mattress. Yeah, man, I came back here and I really had something that I wanted to prove. I wanted to prove something. And aside from anything else, I did learn some great lessons in that city. And one of those lessons was you're only as good as the last thing you did. And nobody wants to hear about it if you haven't done anything. And so I was super happy to start creating. And I don't want to get too fucking Shia LaBeouf here, but fucking Full Metal RPG was the platform that got me to do everything I ever wanted to do. You know, all the stuff that as a kid I sat around being like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be cool if? And I just somehow daydreamed my life away until I was in my like mid-30s. And then Full Metal RPG made those things coalesce for me. And were they like small ambitions? Were they petty ambitions? Were they inconsequential? Yeah, maybe, but they were the thing I wanted to do. And I fucking did them. Met Mark Reinhagen. I fucking hung out with all the fucking vampire dudes. I'm in a fucking vampire book. I fucking wrote a goddamn role-playing game still unreleased. I fucking like, I started just chumming around with the people who I always saw as being like, out there doing the thing, and they brought me in and they were like, no, you're one of us now, you're one of the people who sits at the table, and you're not a consumer, you're in here with us as a creator. And Full Metal RPG was that act of physics. It's the object that is in motion that stays in motion, and it has kept me in motion for 6 years, always doing new stuff and meeting new things. And you know what, like, maybe 2020 gave me some time to slow down and to be a bit more introspective and to rethink my life and to remember that the reasons why I was angry in 2014, 2015, like don't count anymore. I'm not angry anymore, and I don't have anything to prove anymore. And so, like, on some level, it's kind of time for like Bob Dylan said, it's time to put this shield down. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm still in motion, you know? I'm still in motion, and I still have all these things that I am doing and that I want to do. And that has been the way that Full Metal RPG has changed me, is it's taken that gulf that when you're a kid and you're a creator and you want to be in that world where you're just creating all the time, but you don't know how to get across that gulf, it was just the energy to jump me across that. You know what I'm saying?
Just made a bargain with a sea witch.
We could have done that.
Part of that world.
Thought about that.
Yeah, but the contract lengths from a sea witch is just enormous. It's hard to deal with. It's just
Just stab them with a boat.
There is definitely something to be said for making sure, kids, that any contract you sign does have an end date on it. If you do sign a contract
with a sea witch,
yeah, you just make sure that the contract does expire at some point.
Because if they're a sea witch, they have to tell you.
That's the rule.
Or if you're at the crossroads and it's Old Scratch or something, like, you know, it never came down to that, because again, like all of my all of my ambitions were very petty, and I didn't have to become the best fiddle player or anything. But like, I mean, hey, remember that time we had fucking dinner with Martin Erickson at the White Wolf table at Gen Con the year that V5 launched?
Yeah.
And we were just sitting there and we were like, how the fuck did this happen? How is this us?
Why am I here?
Yeah, this is the Prince of Philadelphia now. If you guys play VTES, Pittsburgh? Oh, I've been telling everybody
Pittsburgh. No, I don't rate Philadelphia. Philadelphia, they got cream cheese. It's too fancy for me. It's Pittsburgh. I'm the Three Rivers Stadium. That's it.
One of the first interactions I ever had with Ben Bailey. The reason why I'm friends with this guy, fucking like 25 years later or something. You know this. You know this story. I was in high school. In high school, sophomore year, which was Ben's freshman year, I played football. Okay, I played junior varsity football. And I had to practice after school. And then my mom would come pick me up in the parking lot. And while I was waiting for my mom to pick me up, I would walk over to this table, and there were some of my nerd friends would be sitting there, right? and I had been going to comic book stores as a kid in the 90s did, and so I was aware of this game called Magic the Gathering that was out at the time, right? And I saw this guy sitting there, this character, Ben Bailey, and he's sitting there, he's playing this game. And I go, what are you playing? And he goes, Jihad. And I go, is that like Magic the Gathering? And he goes, no, it's better. and
I hope I said it as pompous and assholey like that.
you said it without looking up to make eye contact with me in the way of a classic nerd. So I mean, mission accomplished.
Awesome.
Accomplished. But like
How I make friends.
But like Adam Sink's in that game now. Adam Sink is in that game now. All right? And like
Fist bump.
is like we never would have done any of that shit. If we had all just sat around here in fucking Tempe and Phoenix, like fucking filleting each other and playing D&D and telling each other, oh, you're making the best character and you run the best games and blah, blah, blah. Like on some level, if you're going to create, you have to break your circle open and you have to go forth and you have to do something. And you have to put it out there. And that's what Full Metal RPG did for me, And let me tell you, like, there have been times when I've really rued this podcast, when I've been like, oh, let's get this fucking thing off from around my neck. But it has done so much for me. It has given me so much more than it's ever taken. It's given me what I consider to be my life,
And in case you're wondering, just by looking at me, like, what kind of vampire is... I'm a Malkavian, so just... just to be clear.
They made me a gangrel, I think. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You were clanned. I think it's just a picture.
Yeah, there's a picture of me. I'm in the V-Test set somewhere, I think. They took fucking, hey, Mark Kelly, he took off my mustache. He's like, I'm going to take off your mustache in Photoshop. So I look super weird. I have a chin strap, but I do think I am in the new set.
Okay.
And then whenever they post pictures of me for the book that I'm in, Blood Gods or whatever, everybody's always like, oh, that's totally a gangrel. And it's just because I have a fucking denim jacket on. And I'm just like, you...
Jacket beard.
You must be a gangrel. I mean, whenever,
Yeah.
I wanted... The backstory, kids, the behind-the-scenes story. We took those pictures because Mark was working on what was going to be the splat image for the La Sombra splat. And I was like really hoping that they were going to take a different tact and kind of go against type and maybe have a real kind of roguish looking person be the La Sombra splat. But it was a dude with a tie. And I'm not hating on the dude because, hey, good on him. He got the thing I wanted. I don't hate him for that. I do think, White Wolf guys, come on. La Sombras and ties? What's that about? Is that really a thing? Like, you gotta wear a tie if you're a Sombra? Come on. La Sombras don't gotta wear a tie. No one's gonna back me up. All right.
I don't think any clan has to be anything, but I don't know.
It's just like they stick with these archetypal pictures that they love.
Do they?
Like, I'm just, whatever. It's just put the guy in the denim jacket and make him the, La Sombra. Like,
it's one of the reasons why Requiem's better, because Requiem always did that. They were always cool about, like, there was that in the Ventru clan book, there was that whole chapter called The Witch of the Weeds, and it was a female who lived in a trailer park and was the regent of the Ventru in that area. Because why? Not because she buys suits or buys ties, but because she's a boss bitch. You know what I'm saying? Boss bitch equals Ventru. I could be a boss bitch. Say I'm not. I could. You're a madman, and his card looks fucking bad.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
I told Zajac who plays V-Test, I'm like, when those cards get into circulation, like, you need to get me copies of our cards. I want them. Put them on the wall.
There you go.
Put them on the wall. Anyway, we should do some shout-outs, don't you think? Do I gotta do all of them, or do you guys want to do some shout-outs? Who do you guys want to shout out? I've been talking fucking forever. Shout some people out. Come on. Putting you on the spot.
You put me on the spot, and now my brain is just like...
Yeah, okay, so... I'm going to give you guys a second to think. All right, so... First of all, on my way out, I got to what up my friends at Dungeon Punks. Everybody's going to be like, oh, we've heard about these Dungeon Punks guys. whatever. Nate Bean, the show would not exist in its current form without you. Mark Boardman, Connor Boardman, Tom Chippendale, Ager, Adam Chandler. You guys, I mean, you'll never really understand what your relationships have meant to me over the last 5 years. And I'm really happy that I'm going to be able to keep interacting with you guys and working with you guys. I mean, fucking Bordy and Connor are in my online group. So, I get to see them every 2 weeks, which, I mean, they've become some of my best friends in the entire world. Chris Kohler, Slow Death Games, fantastic legions. Our homie Alex, who has been a dead fast supporter of the show and has put no single Patreon member has put more money into this show than Alex from Fantastic Legions. And then, there's just, Wolf Mungus, who has supported us on every electronic platform and has always been in there with likes and with comments and with positive words. Alberto, same. Just everywhere we go, he's there. He's always supportive. He's always on our team. And then, man, there have just been so many people. Mark Kelly, Codier, Caldoon. Yeah, and I don't want to keep going because I don't want to leave out literally just hundreds of people who have made this and what we've done not only possible but valuable and meaningful and potent. I feel like I have made some of the best friends of my life in my 30s, and they always are oh, you can't make friends after 30, it gets so much harder. But I have made some of the best friends of my life post 30 because of Full Metal RPG. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I brought together with some of my best friends, and then I've made more best friends. You know what I'm saying? And what else is fucking role playing about? You know what I'm saying? All those years of me trying to run it as fucking improvisational theater troupe with black box theater type shit. It's about hanging out with your friends and telling great stories. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Indeed.
And we got some great fucking stories.
We do.
We got some great fucking stories, man.
Get a few beers in these guys next time you see them anywhere, and they'll tell you. They'll tell you some things we're not going to talk about on air. But I want to shout out all you guys because obviously I wouldn't be doing the show if I hadn't met Brendan at the Iron GM at Game Depot, and I hadn't listened to Ben and you talk forever, and Ben and I were talking Cyberpunk at a convention for I don't know, I swear we spent 3 hours while you were smoking cigarettes talking about Cyberpunk. And Adam,
Never happen again.
well, yeah, because we would.
I don't smoke, so.
Right, I know. That's you wouldn't talk to me again, but that's fine. No,
I talk to you, just not smoking.
Right, exactly. We would have we'd actually play Cyberpunk or at least plot out something.
Okay, sure. I'm not a hater.
Never say never. Bubblegum cigarettes.
And Adam, you have a comedy wit that you just need to employ, and I wish I could get you back.
Yeah, just, it's like all comics. I have a deeply self-destructive streak, so.
I really appreciate everything you guys have done. I'm hoping that I can carry this thing forward, and I don't have a lot of wishes. I just want to talk about stuff. So I want to give other people a chance to talk about things and hopefully raise the level of discourse or lower it depending on your opinion. I don't really give a shit. To move the bar in some way or another and see where we can go in the future. See if we can keep pushing the genre of role playing further and further.
I'll do some shout out to the role-playing group peeps that are still keeping it going and live. Shout out to Michael Collette. Shout out to Dave and Patty for supporting us for so long over at Depot. Shout out to Jeff over at Games U. Shout out to Daryl over at IO, all the local store owners. Supporting the community and helping grow it. We wouldn't be anywhere without you guys out there getting us product and, helping us to buy the books and play games in your spaces. So big thank you for that. We do appreciate it.
And I'll just wrap it up here by saying thanks to all the wonderful listeners we've had over the years. I know I haven't been around for a long time, but still appreciate it.
And they miss you, man. They shout you out.
Tell me this all the time. You're like, when's Ben going to come back on?
Jamie at Coliseum Rex and Henry, they ask about you every single time.
Talk to them, but I'll sound like wonderful people.
Mark asked about after you. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out to Henry. Shout out to Human Energy Sphere, Human Energy Field, and Middle Earth Crisis. You know. So yeah, and you know what?
For all the people I have grudges against. Okay, so let's go.
Yeah, part 2. So yeah, if you want to keep following my continuing work, you'll be able to find me on Realm of Fire, my my podcast about Games Workshop games, and I think that Ben is going to be doing some guesting on that to talk, and we're going to have to get RBK on to talk about his orcs as well, and then if Adam finds some time to start doing some Games Workshop, he'll probably come by. We'll see.
He's got takes. He's got takes for days.
I got those hot takes.
I got a lot of takes.
Yeah. So follow me on Realm of Carrion on Instagram, and then I'll still be on Instagram. I'm going to be changing the name of the Full Metal RPG feed. We'll see if Industrial Strength RPG is still available or available again. And having said all of that, to quote Oscar Wilde, the wallpaper goes, or I do. Farewell.
Ah.